This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hey everyone, it is Party Loaded. My name's Luke, and we're here on Wednesday, the 5th of October, to chat about video games, episode 46. I am joined tonight by a crew consisting of all ladies, because Oliver is not with us this evening. So we have Jam.
Hello.
And we have Mimo,
Hello.
aka Imogen. I'm just, I never actually want to call you Imogen. It's way too many syllables for me. It's just far too much effort.
Luke doesn't like counting to 3.
No,
it's difficult.
I do not.
So difficult.
No. I could use several syllables for Jam's name tonight and call you Hopalong.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, really? Are we going to start that game, are we?
We could do that, yeah. How's the foot? Are you still crippled or are you okay tonight?
I'm improving.
Mm-hmm.
Hobbling along.
Yeah. So you had
But, it doesn't really interfere with playing video games, so
No, that is quite fortunate. That's very, very fortunate. Yeah, but it doesn't interfere with watching TV either, which I think a whole bunch of us have been doing this week. There's been some seriously good stuff out. So Luke Cage, premiere of Westworld.
That was amazing.
Oh, so good. Yeah, there's some stuff that I would actually love to see them make games out of. A Luke Cage game would be seriously cool. I think they could.
Okay, but I'm only up to episode 5, so shh.
Ah, yeah. All right. Spoiler
Also
alert,
up to
he's
episode
bulletproof.
Magic.
Would make a good game mechanic. Anyway. All right, well, anyway, we have been playing some video games, and Imogen and I in particular actually got to try out something pretty special this last week. So, yeah, you want to tell everyone about what the stuff was?
Yeah, we got a chance to try out Symphony of the Machine, which is a game being developed by Stirfire Studios, which are local here to Perth. On VR. It was my first VR experience. Very exciting.
Oh, I'm super jealous.
Yeah, you should be. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So I think having a chat to everyone involved, they're super passionate. It was really nice to try it out and talk to the people and see it all happening in real life. See the cogs in the machine, so to speak. And yeah, we had a bit of a go. It's a nice little sort of puzzle game, I guess is the best way to describe it. I think they're probably going to have new terms of VR games coming out soon, but going to have to work with the machine. I don't want to spoil it for people. So
I don't know if spoiling it's too much of an issue at the moment, considering that it's in development and a lot of it's likely to change, but yeah.
Basically, you're solving puzzles using a very complicated machine that works around weather and the elements of weather. So it asks you to create different weather types, which you have to do by guessing combinations given sort of 4 basic elements. You do that by physically manipulating mirrors and tubes, and I got very stuck for a very long time. I had the fortunate/unfortunate case of going first, which meant, as I'm sure you can appreciate, Jam, is that I get stuck in puzzles sometimes and I just can't see past them. But I'm trying the result. Like, why isn't it working? So there's just one point where I was just like playing with, there's like a little robot friend in there. He was super sweet. I kept trying to like give him things and he kept flying away from me. I'm like, here, take it. Oh, he doesn't want it. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
It was supposed to be like
cute.
a caddy of sorts, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the end, I ended up just like placing things in the air, which I thought was super cool. But again, like you said, it's still in development, so don't know what the end result of where you can actually put things will be.
Yeah.
But, for my first time in VR as well, just spectacular. I tried it bespectacled and non-bespectacled, and was happy to report my particular eye injuries didn't really sort of impact. So I think I might be able to try VR without glasses. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's the first time genuinely, and a credit to the guys at Stirfire, that I put VR on my face and I went, I can actually see myself investing in a VR platform of some description in the future.
Oh.
Because I can see myself standing in my lounge room doing this and setting up
awesome.
everything that's required to do that. And previously I'd gone, yeah, that's cool. I'll go try it at other people's houses. But no, now I'm a bit hooked because it was just, I don't know if you had the same sensation, Luke, but even though it's a puzzle and I get all stressed out with it, it was just nice. Like the background music for the game. I mean, it's called Symphony of the Machine, but it was just calming, and I can just sort of see the sort of same effect you get from weeding in Minecraft Jam. I can see games like this being that for me.
Soothing and immersive.
Yeah, really immersive. And I mean, considering I was in a room with a bunch of people talking, and one of them is Luke, who has, very dulcet tones happening. I managed to, just phase out and be stuck in what I was doing and figuring out the puzzle and be in the world that Stir-Fi created.
Definitely need one.
Yeah.
Must
you
have
do.
one to block Luke out.
Jam.
There we go. It's on.
Oh,
Zing.
yeah. Anyway, I'm going to be good tonight because Ollie's not here to hold me back. So, yeah.
That's a filthy lie.
Yeah, I know. Jam, I was going to say the comparison that I'd almost draw is the way this game kind of felt to me, just the very small snippet of content we got to see, was it felt a little bit like a pared back experience similar to what I'd expect from like a VR version of The Witness. Not quite as bright and lush and green as some of the environments in The Witness. Like the environment was a lot more sort of... it was almost like you were on like a mine site, like a tower sort of in the middle of a mine site or a quarry or something like that, or like a moon landscape. But
a valley. I thought I was in a valley.
Yeah, like a valley, like a rocky valley, kind of thing. So it wasn't, extremely pretty outside of that area, but the pretty stuff was kind of on the tower that you're interacting with, like all the machine elements.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
I disagree. I think that the majesty of it was the prettiness of it. But there you go. That's just me being very artsy-fartsy for you.
well, that's the VR environment stuff as well, I guess. Yeah. But I mean, unlike how in The Witness you have like the puzzle boards where you're sort of drawing the line on the tablet kind of thing, this was almost like you're taking that style of puzzle into like a three-dimensional environment, and instead of drawing lines sort of with your finger on a tablet, you're kind of trying to connect points by reflecting a light beam around kind of thing.
Okay.
So,
and manipulating objects and that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
It
I'm
was-
so bummed that I was crippled.
Honestly, as soon as I took that off, the first thing I said to Simo was, Jam is going to hate that she wasn't here. He's like,
Damn it.
honestly. And also, I just have to, again, credit them. I'm just gushing about Stir-Fire Studio. But the responsiveness of everything, like I didn't ever feel, like I felt like I was tilting mirror and the response was exactly what I expected. And I think in a VR environment, that's amazing to be able to replicate. So,
Yep, absolutely. So we should probably mention as well that the build of Symphony that we were testing out was for that particular occasion was on the HTC Vive. Absolutely no word of what the game's going to end up on eventually, or when it's going to be released. We don't have that info at all yet. But the demo version, because it was on the Vive, it sort of allowed us to sort of walk around and interact with the environment rather than sort of being seated down. So. And that was actually the first time that I had a play around on the Vive and got to check out the controllers. So how did you find the responsiveness with the hand controllers, Imogen? Was it tactile enough for you, being able to sort of grip and manipulate things? Was the responsiveness good?
I was super conscious of, because VR is a very real thing now, the thing that people always say is like putting the headset on and then reaching out and grabbing controllers that you're not actually seeing with your eyes, like in the physical world. So, they put the thing on me and I had a headset and they handed me the controllers. And I just had that moment where I was like, whoa. Kind of moment. But no, I really did. I really liked the way, like I felt like when I was moving my hand, it was moving. And I had to keep remembering that I can walk around or that I could move my hand. I was getting like my hands all twisted up, trying to do things. I'm like, just let it go and then move your hand around the other way, like that 3D space and getting used to it. But no, I thought the controllers were really good. I don't know if this is even a possibility, but I don't know if in the future or if it's something that's current. Everything that I've seen, the controllers look the same in VR for the Vive. I don't know if in the future there's going to be a way that they can make them look whatever they want. So even if they're the same shape for Symphony in the Machine, they could make them like, I don't know, that same sort of metal rock kind of platform that the whole tower's made out of, something like that. Like give them a skin so that it's the controllers are skinned for the game, that'd be kind of cool. So I don't know. I've not seen anything like that.
I think it's very game dependent. Like I've definitely seen games where they replace that controller model altogether with like a hand or an Omni tool of some sort.
You're true. The job simulator is like a big hand, isn't it?
Yeah, stuff like that. And I think quite a few of the other demos have different solutions to it as well. So I mean, the Vive controller model itself would have to be programmed in by devs. So whether they make that change, I mean, this is getting into a discussion around different games and different platforms that they're going to be on, and we have no idea where this one's going to land. But I mean, they would actually have to go to the effort to put those models in the game as opposed to it just being a default thing. So yeah, they'd have to give some thought to it. But yeah, no, it's super interesting. I actually on the weekend following, I attended the Perth Games Festival, which you ladies got to go to last year. So this year the boys decided to go, and that included Ollie and myself and my son Ben. And just sort of getting back to Symphony of the Machine, because they had that on display on the weekend up on the big stage, which was super cool. So Starfire had prime position up there. The demo that they were showing on the weekend actually only used one of the Vive controllers, where previously we'd tried it out using two of them. And I mean, looking at what was going on there, I think two is completely unnecessary for what we were doing in that particular game. One is easily enough because you can kind of just grip what you need to with one hand and move it around. You don't really need the second one. But it just kind of was an interesting contrast between the two. But the cool thing with actually seeing the game again on Saturday was that my 7-year-old got to try out VR for the very first time, and that was a really interesting thing to watch.
Such a lucky kid.
It was, yeah. Ben was saying the whole time. So Dad, just so I'm clear, I'm doing this before Jamie, right? No, he didn't really say that. Anyway.
I can picture it though.
Yeah, he probably did. No, it was funny. He took to it like a duck to water. Seriously, it was like he knew exactly what he was doing. Put the headset on, wasn't sort of put off by the change in perspective or anything like that. He was wandering around and interacting with stuff exactly how you'd expect a 7-year-old to do it. And he wasn't too stumped by the puzzles either. He kind of worked it out, but I think it was a really good test for the Stirfire crew that were actually up on stage there watching him, sort of seeing how their game would be interpreted by a much, much younger sort of test subject, if you like. It was really cool. The only thing that was challenging for him is that, of course, the Vive has cabling from the back of the headset, which sort of leads into whatever device you've got it linked up to, usually your PC. And as some kids like to, he as he's looking around, turned in circles repeatedly the same direction. So
man.
He was getting to the point where he was spiderwebbing himself pretty effectively, but
I nearly do that myself, so I really can't comment. I really did that myself in the test. So
it's amazing to hear though, if you took to it so naturally, that speaks so much to the intuitiveness of the game and the system. That's extraordinary.
Well, I think part of it may be that I actually spoke to him quite a bit about the experience before he got to do it himself, so he kind of knew verbally from me what to expect. But even so, I don't think that when it comes to VR, that's a replacement for actually, experiencing it yourself. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
So, particularly for a young child who, has limited experience with video games compared to us, him sort of jumping in and experiencing that. I mean, this sort of stuff will just be natural for his generation moving forward. It's just, it's kind of sickening in a way that they're going to be so privileged to be able to do it. Yeah.
So lucky.
back in our day, we had to play games with controllers.
Exactly.
And use our eyes and our imagination.
I've tried to explain the concept to him before, and because of the mini NES unit that's coming out in the next month or two. I've tried to explain to him the concept of a wired controller, and he just doesn't get it. It's just like, why would you have a wire on the controller, Dad? That sounds like a really bad idea. Yeah, Ben, it is. It's a terrible idea.
Explain to him how we had to use text to visualize our game environment. It was just
explain to him
words.
the world of mud.
Yeah.
We'll just type to each other.
Yeah, just blow his mind. No, he'll probably learn all that sort of stuff because I'm going to teach him basic computer coding in the next month or so. I'm sort of mucking around with Scratch and Python, so we'll see how he goes with that. It should be fun.
Awesome.
So he's going to have to learn the text component anyway, but Yeah, so that was super fun. There was another VR game using the Vive that was on demonstration downstairs at the hall as well, which was, it was actually, from what I understand, it was not actually built as a game per se. It was an unnamed game because what it really was a demo environment designed for mining companies. So it was basically like an offshore drilling platform, sort of like an oil rig, sort of out in the ocean kind of thing, with a whole bunch of helicopters flying around. And there wasn't really a game built into it. Like there wasn't any parameters with, direction or, objectives or anything like that. You could literally just sort of jump into this environment and grab things and manipulate them and have a play. But what people were doing is they actually realized that making the whole thing into a Godzilla-style destruction derby was by far the funnest way to do it. So people were jumping on and literally using the Vive controllers to grab helicopters off the top of the platform and out of the air and just crash them into each other and throw them back at the oil rig and just make the biggest explosions they possibly could. And it was hilarious to watch. And of course, getting a 7-year-old on doing that, what are they going to do? They're going to do exactly that. It's going to be like they're playing with Tonka trucks and throwing them against their bedroom wall. So, oh man, several hundred explosions later, he had enough and we moved on. But they actually had it set up so that there were a couple of people sort of sharing a screen next to whoever's on the VR unit, actually trying to use an Xbox controller to pilot the helicopters themselves. And these poor people were just like, they're getting in a helicopter, trying to get it to take off, controlling it, and then all of a sudden they get snatched out of the air by this giant hand and smashed back into the platform. So I can't imagine that was a terribly fun experience for them. But yeah, it was funny anyway. But yeah, Perth Games Festival was cool. I obviously can't contrast it to what you ladies experienced last year because I didn't get to go then. But yeah, we checked out a bunch of stuff. There was quite a few devs on show, some students from one of the local universities that were studying games design that were showing off some of their projects and things like that. Ben gravitated immediately to a game called A Little Bit Lost, which was it was a sandbox style game. A lot of similarities to the Minecraft kind of interface, but this one was basically the concept was it was a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of situation where you're basically moving through like a giant oversized forest of grass with giant sized ants and Lego blocks around the sort of scenery, and you're picking up sticks and using them as spears and that sort of thing. Crafting elements, of course, to sort of build different weapons, and there was a whole bunch of little like spiky things on the ground. Those little caltropi style seed buds that you see around the place sometimes. I forget what they're actually called. I think we called them gidgies or something. I don't know. It's probably an Australian term for it, but they're the sort of things that when you step on without any shoes on, they hurt like hell. But in this game, like if you step on them, they take a whole bunch of health off you as well. So you need to avoid them at all costs. But yeah, that was a cool little roam around sandboxy type thing. What else? There was.
Did you get a chance to play? This is one game that Jam and I waited for a little while to play last year, and I saw that they were there this year. Bramble Lash by Bite Sprite.
Bramble Lash was on display. I didn't get a chance to play it, sadly.
It's so good, and I was so bummed. Like, I was bummed that I couldn't go anyway, and then when I saw people tweeting that Bramble Lash was there again, I was like, damn it. So I hope they're one of the people that I hope to see it at PAX. Fingers crossed, because that game was so much fun, and just watching other people play it, it's a sort of great little...
Check it out, yeah.
Great little game, yeah.
And did you see Paradigm?
Yeah, I was just about to say, and Paradigm, who is one of the 6 PAX Rising games chosen for this year, which is from Jacob Janerka, which is a super bizarre game that Jem and I spoke about last Games Festival, and we actually met Jacob and had a chat to him, and we were talking about the game and had a bit of a laugh about the premise of it.
Oh, so funny.
Which is so funny, and so we were over the moon to see that it got announced to be at PAX. So nice. It's just good to see games that are coming out of Perth Games Festival, and also then seeing them and being able to give people a high five or a fist bump when we see them at PAX, which is a great arena for them. I'm super proud of all our little Perth fam.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's awesome to see a lot of the sort of stuff on display, long before it will ever hit the consumer market. And to be fair, there was probably a few people that were showing off stuff that was a little early in development that maybe should have held off from being at the Perth Games Festival and maybe saved it for like a game jam or a Play Up Perth style event, which is kind of like the collaborative development events that are held locally. Because I see the Perth Games Festival as more of a, you want to actually start to get your game or your creation in the public eye and show off your wares, and it's that first impressions count kind of situation where you really want to be ready for a show like that. So maybe a couple that were slightly undercooked, but there were some really, really good ones there. And some of the really good ones were just ludicrously simple. Like another good example was a game called Hyperdash Heroes. So this was an extremely fast-moving sort of running game where basically you're like in a channel and you're running up walls on either side, so on the left and the right wall, and you can sort of change the height that you're running up the wall, and you can switch from left to right as you're sort of running along. And these sort of blocks basically fly past you as you're running, and you need to try and navigate through them and not crash into them by jumping from each wall sort of back and forth and up and down. Really, really challenging dexterity game. Like, it's very easy to just smash straight into the blocks that are flying at your face on this one. You need to be pretty quick. So, but very colourful. I think they're trying to simulate skyscrapers, different coloured skyscrapers, but it's the graphics were quite simplistic, so it's kind of hard to tell what aesthetic they're going for. It was a very Lawnmower Man style, kind of blocky colour aesthetic in a way, but that was good fun. Checking that out. That was from, I think it was Moss Wolf Games, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah,
cool name.
Could chat about a whole bunch of the different ones on display there. Hopefully we'll get a chance to go into a bit more detail with some of them that, go on to bigger and better things in the near future. But otherwise, I'd spend half an hour sort of chatting about the different things there. But no, it was good. Perth Games Festival, lots of fun. Took a few photos. The VR stuff with Ben was one of the highlights for sure. And we attended a couple of panels. He sat very, very well behaved for an hour, chatting to games developers about how they got into sort of making games and what that means to them. And Ben actually sort of got up and asked a question as well. So I was super proud of my little man. He was doing a good job that day. So yeah,
Good Ben.
it was good.
Yeah, you did a good job. It's also good, I mean, for those of you who don't live in Australia who are listening to our podcast, Perth Games Festival is also hosted on one of our biggest sporting days of the year. So it was our football grand final. It was also disgusting weather in Perth. So the fact that it was so well attended is just goes to show the strength of the industry here and in Australia generally, I think. So
Yep,
good
absolutely.
job to, I think it's Let's Make Games, who are the organisers of the Perth
Yeah,
Games Festival,
local group,
yeah.
Let's Make Games. There's a bunch of volunteers from various different businesses and organisations in Perth that sort of make up the committee, from what I understand. But we might get a chance to chat to them at some point in the future and get a bit of their thoughts on
awesome.
on the games development locally. That would be cool. I was so engrossed in what was going on there that I totally left my umbrella on one of the tables, and we had to do a mad dash to get home amongst all of the terrible weather. So.
Oh dear, it was disgusting.
Yeah, it was not the greatest. But yeah. All right, what other stuff have we had on during the week? Imogen and I played a super fun couple of games of Armello last night using...
Oh, so good.
Yeah, so we jumped on with our friends Anthony and Jason. And Jason, as it turns out, actually backed the Armello Kickstarter back when that was a thing. And so he had access to 4 characters that we have never seen in the game before.
Yeah, so he apparently kickstarted the game but has never played it.
What?
And it also made it really clear to us that if you play with people with expansions, then the people playing in that game get access to those characters, what I think is amazing, rather than saying if not everyone has the expansion, then everyone's locked out.
Yep.
They've just gone, everyone can have the characters. So we got 4 new characters who were sort of, I guess, like a ragtag bunch. They were all their own clan. So rather than being Bear Clan or Fox Clan, Rabbit Clan, they were, different.
I think it was a Bandit Clan?
Bandits, that's right, thank you. So I played the most adorable bandit squirrel called Twiss, who was super sneaky, and her sort of main ability is that she evades in all combat, so she doesn't attack anyone, and all of her, she has an ability that will turn attack dice into defenses for her because she's evading. And if she successfully evades without dying, she steals a card from that person. So I can still attack. So I still attack people in a way. So they still steal their card. But I love it. I want to play with it all the time. I'm bummed. So now we have to play with Jason like all the time.
Jam, it was super freaking annoying.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Go, Imogen.
I won that game, by the way,
Yeah.
as a character that couldn't attack people. I cannot stop loving this game. My only bugbear with it is that each game takes me so long, and I don't realize that I've lost 2 hours to this.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to just get into games and whatever else. I found lots of ways to make the game longer last night in some settings.
Really?
Yeah, there's a house rule settings where you can make the king have more health to make the game, epic length or whatever else. So if we know we've got 3 hours and we can't play 2 games, we could always make it one big 3-hour game.
Are you able to change the size of the board?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that'd be a really interesting way.
Yeah. The thing that lengthens the game more than anything is sort of improving the survivability of the king. So,
That makes sense.
You can make things harder, like you can make the Banes like super Banes. You can make you don't start with cards, or you can determine what cards you get. You can make the stranger not part of the game. And who's my least favourite little follower who just attaches himself to you and takes you in random directions.
Stranger danger.
See, I haven't had him, so I'm just amused by it.
Oh, I get him all the time. Well, last night you will appreciate this, Jam, so I was sort of between a mountain and something else, and I went onto my quest which had a peril on it, so I had to do the peril first before I could get to the quest. The peril I failed, and it pushed me off my square, so then I got pushed onto the mountain which also had a peril, which I auto-failed, and it was a lightning peril, so it pushed me off the mountain and killed me.
Oh, no.
So I got pushed, I jumped into a square, got pushed into another square, and then died. So it's like,
yeah,
no.
that's some heavy doom right there.
Yeah, and it happened in the next one. I had a string of events that just kind of went horribly wrong, and I played Gruul again. But
you've got nothing to complain about. In that second game, I was poised to win it, and then someone freaking teleported me out of the castle in the middle.
Was the Luke? So Luke goes into the castle, and I'm just about to go in as well. And I had the one where you can give someone 3 damage if they're within 1 square of you. So I was like, you're screwed, because he only had 2 health at the time. I went to play the card, and he wasn't there. And I was like, oh, maybe it's like a stealth feature, like he's in the castle, he can stealth, or he's played a card I've missed or whatever. Continued sort of playing, and it wasn't until it was Luke's go, and he was all the way down the bottom of the map. And he's like, yeah, you just never realised that I teleport. And Jason, I teleported you out of that instantly.
Oh my God.
Luke had never noticed.
Yeah, I didn't even see it. It's like, when did that happen?
That's fantastic.
So Armello, if you haven't already listened to us speak about it at length and you're still not sold, please go and find this game and play the crap out of it, because, again, Australian developer, League of Geeks, and I just love the crap out of this game. It speaks to me on a very deep level. I'm going to be searching out Armello art at PAX. That's one of my my loot items that I'm hoping to acquire.
I've got a Armello backdrop on my Steam page at the moment, so you should check that out if you get a chance. It's a super good one with one of the little bunny characters. So,
I am a bunny person.
You are a bunny person. Yeah. So, I think probably with the exception of our ongoing World of Warcraft Legioning, that's probably about all of the stuff we've played this week. So, let's kick into some news, because there's a bit of stuff that's been going on this week. It's coming up to that time of year where there's things happening. Just as a recap, we've got a few big titles hitting in the next week or so. So a couple of days from recording, probably about when the show's going to go live, we're going to see Gears of War 4 and Mafia 3 hit release. So looking forward to that. I'm going to be picking up Gears 4, which by all impressions so far looks like that's going to be a pretty good one. So we shall see. I may have to get some time in with that early next week and possibly report back. But in the meantime, in a bit of news surprising probably not a whole bunch of people, it seems that Hello Games is now under investigation officially for false advertising involving No Man's Sky. So the full thing that's happened is basically there's a UK-based advertising standards authority, as in the ASA, and it received a whole bunch of complaints about No Man's Sky advertising, and they've basically reacted and are officially making an investigation into that now. It seems that a core part of the complaints rightly so in my opinion, is coming from the fact that there's still information up on No Man's Sky's Steam page, the game's Steam store page, which is using information that does not show the game in an accurate light as to what is actually has been released, as opposed to what was shown at E3 a couple of years ago, when the game's obviously changed quite a bit since then. So there's a whole bunch of features shown in the in-game video footage on that page that are no longer accurately representing what's actually in the final product, and people have kicked up a massive stink about that, sort of that it's not showing what it should, and it's unethical and dishonest and all the rest of it. So thoughts. This has been an interesting ride for this game. I don't think anyone's happy about this. It's just
it's. I mean, I can appreciate talking about what you hope to be in the game and the actual result being a bit different. That does happen. Where you draw the line, I don't know. But if they've still got misinformation on their store page advertising this product, that's an issue. That's something that should have been rectified.
Yeah. I had a chat to a couple of devs during the week about this, and it even came up when chatting to Stirfire about Symphony of the Machine. It's one of those things, like, if you're building a game, obviously while you're through the development cycle of that game, you're going to want to show it off and get people involved in seeing what you're working on. There's going to be times where you do that. But where is the line when you are basically showing things that are not going to represent the final product? Like, where is it a problem where it's being disingenuous to what people are going to expect when it actually comes out to market? I think that's a question that's worth asking, and it's a really tricky question. And I mean, obviously, Hello Games have got a massively big magnifying glass on them, like bigger than almost any other situation in the past that we can recall, because of the nature of their relationship to Sony, the huge amount of hype that was behind this game, the amount of media that was sort of around about it. I mean, Sean Murray from Hello Games had been doing interviews with, major American talk shows and that sort of thing, like even a year to 18 months out from release. And that kind of spotlight, brings a lot of attention and anticipation, and, increases the risk exponentially when it comes to the story changing between then and the actual game releasing. But you can kind of put all of that in one bucket, and then exactly as you just said, Jam, you can also sort of, to the side of that, push it aside and say, well, what are you continuing to promote once the game's actually released? Yeah.
And, I mean, some of the measures that can be taken, one, just provide a little bit of context. If you're showing off your game and it's very early stages, or even if it's getting close but you still don't know what the final product is, just a little context. This is what we hope to include in the game. Like, no solid promises if you've got no, reliable means of knowing that they're going to be included. And number two, to combat this, because it is becoming pervasive in the industry, stop pre-ordering.
Yeah.
If you don't know, especially if this company, any company, has a reputation of not delivering on what they state they're going to produce, don't pre-order it. Don't give them money before you have your product, because that means that they're gaining funds early, although not too early, that they don't have to justify to their backers. It seems they don't have to be quite as accountable in polishing off that product if they're already raking it in. And, it's not necessarily a blanket rule. There will be developers and there will be games that you will be very willing to lock that in for, but they'll throw up, early access perks or collectibles or this sort of thing for pre-orders to grab that money. You need to balance, is it worth a potential, disappointment?
Yeah, the risk-reward balance, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, realistically, with the exception of any of those bonuses that may be offered, the only people that really want to be jumping on game releases on day dot are people that are actually involved in, the professional industry of reviewing and, providing commentary on those games. And
possibly, but they tend to get access. Oh, it depends. Depends who they are.
Copies,
but they're capable of getting preview copies and access.
Sometimes, yeah.
Pre-ordering, I don't know. If you're ordering digitally, it lets you preload and maybe access something early. If you need a physical copy, I mean, it used to mean that you could have the guaranteed physical copy if you go into the store. I don't know if that's becoming less of an issue now. It's a while since I've bought a physical game. There's definitely some benefits to pre-ordering that are worth it for some people, but people blindly pre-ordering the moment something's announced will not help this issue.
Yeah.
No, and this is like an ongoing issue, and it will be interesting how the investigation falls out. In the end, even if they're found to, have contravened advertising laws or rules, it's really just a don't do it again.
Yeah. It will set a very interesting precedent, though.
Yeah, it will.
It will, and I think that it's the ongoing battle with this early access. Early access, and the games never come out of early access. Access to beta, and it never comes out of beta or alpha in some cases, or games that people are paying to kickstart that either never eventuate or whatever else. It's this need to go on to get it early because of what you believe, and initially, and like you said, how do you advertise a game that you're already currently developing? It could change millions of times before it ever comes out.
Absolutely.
We'll see. It'll be interesting. It's very, very, very unfortunate. I just the guys who developed that game are not catching a break, unfortunately.
Yeah. It is all the hallmarks of a cautionary tale for many, I think.
Yeah, I think
many
so.
different sides. Yeah. All right, well, on to some lighter news. Twitch has been having a fairly massive week this week, and a couple of key reasons why. First reason is Twitch has just launched their new Twitch Prime service. Now, this is basically linked to Amazon Prime, which has been a thing for a little while. And in fact, if you actually have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime because it's bundled in together. So basically what it is it's an enhancement for Amazon Prime subscribers, and it gives you a whole bunch of free features and services for using Twitch. So the Amazon Prime membership is generally about $100 annually, which works out to around $11 monthly US if you're using it. So it's not cheap, but it does give you quite a bit of stuff. Going back a while now, Amazon purchased Twitch in 2014, so it was pretty likely that this kind of linking up was going to happen eventually. And this is sort of we're really starting to see what the future is going to look like as far as both the platforms integrating. So if you use Twitch Prime, what sort of stuff comes in the service? I hear you ask. Well, this is the sort of stuff you get. There's a whole bunch of game loot that's going to be available every month. So they'll have sort of different deals and relationships with different developers to give you, bonus, cosmetic items for various games. It could be for an indie game, or it could be for a major title. There's one in particular which we'll talk about shortly, which has happened as the part of the launch package. There's going to be discounts available on some new release box games that Amazon's selling, which is pretty cool. You can link your Amazon and Twitch accounts for ad-free viewing, so you don't get all of the crap sort of blocking up your feed. For Twitch, you get exclusive emotes, and you get a chat badge because Twitch users love their emotes. And also something which is proving to be very, very popular amongst content creators is Twitch Prime will actually give one free channel subscription every 30 days to Twitch Prime users. So you can basically subscribe to your favorite Twitch streamers for free, to one of them every 30 days, and there's some sort of kickback in there where the channel sort of gets a payment from Twitch, because they've got that extra subscriber. So yeah, that's super, super interesting. The problem though is that it's only available in certain countries.
Yeah, same as Amazon Prime. It's only available in certain areas.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's the one thing. But maybe it's a test and see how they go. It sounds very much like a subscription-based TV service.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like there's a couple of other sort of platforms that are being announced at the moment. Alpha's one with Legendary Entertainment, which is having a bit of a ripple effect on the nerd community for different reasons. So this is the way everything's going. So maybe it's a test and then they'll expand it out. That's the hope.
Yeah.
Or maybe it will be, because these types of things are only available because it makes sense to them financially because they can make those deals in their own regions.
Yep.
Until they can make those same deals in other countries, it's obviously not going to be important for them to support it, and until the market is there. But
yep.
I see Australia as being a pretty strong market in that.
Mm.
It's really exciting. I'm enjoying the fact that people are paying attention to the way people consume television, to the point where televisions are now smart TVs, and majority of people don't watch free-to-air television, which is having, obviously different impact. But, these people are finding a way to give us content on our own terms, when we want to watch it. And I think I for one, welcome our new overlords.
Nice. So in other related Twitch news, this is the other reason why they've been big this week. They have announced that they are now going to let users upload pre-recorded videos. If this sounds familiar, it might be because this is YouTube's thing. So, this is going to put them in direct competition with YouTube on this front. So YouTube, of course, has been known for quite a while as being better for its pre-recorded content. So the videos on demand, or VODs, and Twitch is probably more known for being the content platform for live streaming. But now with Twitch allowing their users to sort of upload pretty much unlimited, already edited and polished content. That's going to change the playing field quite a bit in the future if they continue to build on that. So,
It sure is. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people who are known on Twitch also have YouTube pages for this purpose.
Well, they already do. Like a lot of the ones that I listen to
have both.
And watch have both. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the pattern that a lot of them tend to inhabit, and this makes complete sense as far as the effort sort of put in, is that they'll do their live streaming on Twitch, and then they'll take out the best of that stuff and sort of put that content over on YouTube once they've done a little bit of basic editing. So. They may not push everything up because often, when you stream for hours and hours and hours on end, that's quite a bit of YouTube content to put up, and you're not going to want people to necessarily trawl through all of that. But if they take sort of, the highlights and, cut that together into like a 30-minute video once a day, then that's a really easy way for them to generate content ongoing continuously. So, very clever. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Twitch is poised to explode in size if this is the sort of stuff that's going on. I mean, the backing of Amazon, Twitch Prime, videos on demand, a lot of the other enhancements they're making to their service. It's going to be a very interesting future competition between these two platforms. I'm looking forward to seeing what perks it brings to content creators, because that's the ones that they're going to have to fight for to keep their interest on their platforms. So,
I would argue that the competition is Twitch's to lose, if it's going to be between them and YouTube, because at the moment YouTube do what YouTube do very well. What they don't do is the streaming side of things necessarily, or certainly don't have a big YouTube gaming following, not like Twitch does, but it does everything else that it does very well. So Twitch has to make sure that whatever it's doing with its pre-recorded uploads is as easy to use as the YouTube interface. So we'll see.
Agreed.
Interesting times. In the end, we win.
Yeah,
things
that's it.
get cheaper.
Consumers and I mean the content creators win to a certain extent too, because they're the ones that they're going to be having money thrown at them to generate more stuff for those different platforms. So I think it's going to be great for everybody. Competition breeds positive stuff for the consumer. It's good. It's good.
Hopefully.
So speaking of competition breeding positive stuff, Blizzard made a cool announcement over the last 24 hours about a new brawl mode coming to Heroes of the Storm of all places. So
I'm so excited! Oh my god!
Now
it
I'm just going to
instantly made me want to play the game.
I was going to say cast your mind back, because this is something that actually shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, because if you remember correctly, at BlizzCon last year. Was it last year or was it 2014? I'm pretty sure it was last year. They actually announced this under a different name. Do you guys remember their announcement about the Heroes of the Storm Arena mode that they made?
Nope.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people
usually quite. Arena in the Blizzard world means something very different.
No, it does. I mean, we sort of know Arena to be a lot more of a PvP kind of thing in World of Warcraft. But now that, Overwatch, of course, has got its Brawl mode, and Brawl has become more of a Blizzard term, I guess, for a casual play format. There's obviously been a decision made at some point along the line to rebrand the Arena plan that they had initially and maybe, change the scope of it a bit to fit that need. And that's kind of what we've got now. So there is actually a interview article up on one of the major news sites where they're actually talking about some of the development planning and decision making that went into it. And I haven't read the whole article yet, so I can't really paraphrase it. But if you want to read more, maybe check that out. But the original scope, from what I remember when they announced it at BlizzCon, was that it was going to be a way that you could play with, multiples of the same hero, like as a bit of a weird and wacky kind of way to do battles, because that's not something that Heroes of the Storm normally allows. And it seems that they've gone a few steps further than that, and there's actually going to be a whole bunch of different what they call mutators that might come into play each week for a different brawl format. So similar to what they do with Hearthstone, similar to what they do with Overwatch, where they basically change up the rules every time there's a new brawl. So you might one week be playing on a map that's like a single lane. The next week you may be playing on a map where everybody has to pick a Diablo character. Maybe they limit the character pool to just that, or maybe another week it'll be only assassin
only
characters.
Ultimates.
Yeah, exactly. Or
All
maybe your
characters,
ultimates.
Only ultimates.
Yeah, get your ultimates from level 1 or something. Yeah.
Oh, mania.
Yeah. There's tons of things they can do.
Instantly, as soon as I saw this news, I'm like, I want to play Heroes of the Storm. So well done, Blizzard.
Yeah.
You did it.
Absolutely. Well, my
But now there's
first
a brawl
question.
mode in.
My first question was, are they going to offer any sort of incentives to play the Brawl mode? Because there's a big disparity at the moment between Hearthstone and Overwatch, where Hearthstone, of course, if you play a Brawl game, you unlock a free card pack every single week, and it's a really good way to build up your collection. But Overwatch currently doesn't offer anything. So,
But do you remember that in Heroes of the Storm, you have sort of 3 quests or like daily things that you can do a day?
True.
One of them might be do brawl mode, and that might pop in and out, and so that just gets you coins in the game. So rather than card backs or whatever else, maybe it'll just work into that system, like win one brawl match or participate on both sides of, depending on the brawl. So that's how I see that working in.
I think you're right. You'll be able to do that because that's kind of the default for the game. But in addition to that, they have actually clarified they are going to have additional weekly rewards too. So they've actually said that if you participate in 3 brawls in a week, you can earn unique rewards and large sums of in-game gold as well. So that's a fairly awesome little incentive, I think. And that is exactly what I hoped Overwatch would
dangling
do.
that fishhook going, so guys, you came back to Blizzard to play WoW. How about this game you forgot about?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I also kind of see it as Heroes of the Storm. When we started playing it, it was lots of fun. And one of the things that we said lots and lots and lots on this particular podcast is that we enjoyed it because unlike League of Legends or Dota or anything like that, it was a bit more casual. It was a bit more fun. And we felt like as new players, it was something that we could enter. And then as time went on, there was more skills, more abilities, more heroes, and we didn't either play enough to be able to buy them. And I think that's one of the main reasons we sort of dropped off. It did kind of get a bit competitive on that LoL Dota kind of level, the big MOBA level. And so brawl mode, like we joked about it today, being like casual mode or casual gamer mode. But it's just Blizzard listening to their audience. Like people enjoyed it because it was an easier MOBA to get into. So it makes sense for them to try and encourage those people back, make an easy, fun mode for them to go into, not so competitive.
Oh, look, my explanation behind why I've cooled on Heroes of the Storm isn't anything to do with game fatigue. Like, if anything, I really love the game still. I think it's great, and there's nothing they've particularly changed about it that I think is a bad decision or anything like that. For me, it's purely just other stuff competing for my attention. So, you reach a point where with games where as good as they are, like you don't want to play the same thing forever. You want to, particularly with the huge amount of stuff that we put in our plates on a regular basis, you have to push something to the side.
Hearthstone.
Well, yeah, that's different. That's kind of
how? Okay, all right, fair enough.
Well, the reason why it's different is because I can literally play a game of Hearthstone and then put my phone down, 5-10 minutes later. It's not a huge time commitment, and it's one of the only games that I can play like that when I'm on the move as well. Like, there's other mobile games, sure, but not quite as effective as Hearthstone at doing that. But it's funny that you mentioned that because the last few weeks I actually have played a hell of a lot less Hearthstone. I've probably gone from playing 3 or 4 games a day to maybe playing 1 or 2 games every few days. So
we're going to call it the World of Warcraft effect.
It is the World of Warcraft effect. You're exactly right. Yeah. And again, it's not because I've fallen out of love with Hearthstone at all. It's just because I've got other stuff competing for my attention. So, same way I feel about Heroes. I love Heroes. I think it's great. I just am playing other games at the moment. So, but this is a good opportunity to jump back in and check out what's new and have a look at the new content they've had for the StarCraft stuff as well. So, looking forward to having a look at that.
It's a case of, I'm sorry, Blizzard game, but I'm seeing Blizzard game. I hope we can still be friends.
Yeah,
Nailed it, Jam. Nailed it.
Pretty much, yep. Anyway, on the topic of Hearthstone, there has been a huge amount of Hearthstone news this week, so I'll cover it as briefly as I possibly can. So the first thing is that there's been a lot of talk and calls from the Hearthstone community in recent weeks, particularly the pro community, sort of speaking out about the current state of the Hearthstone meta and some of the impacts that random elements are having on the game, and in a bad way. Now, Hearthstone's always been one of those games that has a pretty heavy RNG factor or random number generator factor because that's the way a number of the cards work and it's part of the fun of the game. And it's kind of what makes it different and sets it aside from other competitive card games like Magic the Gathering, for instance. But the thing that a lot of people forget is that the random element in Hearthstone actually offsets a lot of the real sort of locked-in sort of predictable elements that exist in it that don't exist in other games. Like a very, very simple comparison is in Magic the Gathering, which is the world-leading, collectible card game in physical form. One of the things that happens when you build a deck with Magic is you actually have to sort of build your resources into the deck too. So the amount of mana that you've got to cast spells is random every turn depending on what you draw out of your deck. With Hearthstone, you get an extra point of mana every turn. Like it's a gradual creep up towards the end of having 10 mana to spend on all your high powered spells. So you always know how much you've got to spend. It's very predictable. It's very set. That kind of thing. So it may have a whole bunch of random elements, but it offsets some of that predictability. Now there's one card in particular which was really, really exciting when it was first sort of released, and has been the hot subject of a lot of entertaining YouTube videos and Twitch streams and all this sort of stuff. It's one of the old god cards called Yogg-Saron, which basically when you drop him on the board, he casts a random spell, every single spell that's been cast up to that point in the game. So you can literally drop him down and then he casts like 20 plus random spells and the game can completely change on the drop of a hat, and you could end up with a situation completely different to what you had a second ago. Now, a lot of pros and a lot of people...
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a bit nuts. It's really fun to watch, though. It's stupidly fun to watch. Now, a lot of competitive Hearthstone players have been really sort of criticising this heavily lately because they've been noticing it popping up at some of the high-profile tournaments. So to the point where it's a card that is extremely unpredictable and you would never rely on it solely for a victory in a competitive match. But often what would happen is that highly competitive players would get to a point in a finals game where basically they're going to lose. And this is kind of the, in case of emergency, break glass, drop Yogg kind of thing. So...
Yeah.
And
Flip table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's basically a Hearthstone table flip. So, you're screwed, drop this card, and you never know what could happen. You're probably going to be more screwed, but, hey, you could probably win too. So, why not? Give it a go. But, of course, that takes a bit of the competitive nature out of the game, and you don't want to see people winning high-profile tournaments, on a massive random, coin flip like that. So, so Blizzard have taken the steps, and rightly so, to temper a bit of that by actually announcing some card changes. So they've made some adjustments, some balance adjustments to that card and a few of the other cards that are causing a few problems in the current meta, and it's been received very, very well by the community. So big well done to them for doing that. I think it's made quite a few people happy. And that card in particular can still be used competitively. It's still fine. It's just not quite as crazy as it was before. So it's still entertaining. So they haven't killed it completely, which is good. So they found the good balance there. Yeah. Now, they did do one other thing, though, and, man, you guys know I love Blizzard, right? Like, big time. Like, BFFs for life. I have a major bone to pick with them this week. So we just chatted about the Amazon Prime thing the Twitch Prime thing that's launched this week. And Blizzard have gotten on board with supporting Twitch Prime, and they're running a promotion at the moment where they've actually added a new hero to the game. So... the way that they've done this in the past is that basically adding a new hero to Hearthstone means that it still takes one of the existing hero classes. It usually just changes the artwork for the character portrait, changes the voiceover work and the emotes, changes the animations with the hero power and that kind of thing. It's just like a reskin basically, but they're really, really cool. Now, a few of those are actually sort of purchasable. You can just buy them in-game spending money. There are a couple of them that you get for doing other things at the moment. Like there's actually one that is a conjunction promotion with World of Warcraft, where if you play a World of Warcraft character up to level 20, which is free to do, by the way, then you can unlock the character in Hearthstone. So it's like a cross-game promotion. They've done a similar thing with like a friend referral program where if you actually get someone to use your code to start playing Hearthstone, you can unlock another character portrait as well. So there's a good link-up thing happening there. But the thing with those ones is that it's still accessible for everybody. So no matter who you are, even if you don't subscribe to World of Warcraft, you can play for free up to level 20 and unlock this thing. It's not restricting anybody from doing it, okay? The problem with the new one they've just announced, which is Tyrande Whisperwind, super awesome character artwork. It's a priest character, replaces the priest voiceover and portrait and everything in game.
Thank goodness, because he is so annoying.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Anduin Rin, who's the existing one, is just he's a shitlord. Anyway, so I don't like him at all. The new one looks really, really nice, but unfortunately, unless you're located in certain countries, that being the United States, Canada, the UK, and most of Europe, you are basically shit out of luck because you need to be able to use Amazon Prime and Twitch Prime to be able to gain access to this new character. So anyone located in any of the Asian regions or Australia basically can go suck a big one. And I'm not happy about that at all. God damn it, Blizzard.
Okay, all right, I get it. I hear you. I'm going to talk you off the ledge, all right? So this is just a skin. This doesn't give you any competitive advantage. It just gives you a difference between listening to Anduin or listening to Tyrande.
You know what? I don't care. It's goddamn great. It looks awesome.
I'm going to try something else. Let's try a different, good negotiation skills. Can you use your other account and re-region it?
No, I've actually looked into this.
Prime account.
And this is part of the problem. Like, I'm sure there are ways to get around the region issue, but I think that a lot of them are not legal. And the fact that they have restricted it in this way is only going to promote people, in a roundabout way, doing things that they shouldn't to get around the problem. And that's not a great solution. But what's going to happen,
Luke? As soon as Twitch Prime comes to Australia, you will buy that subscription. You will want it so bad just so you can stare at her face instead of Anduin's.
But the promotion will be finished by then because it only runs through to the 5th of November.
Or maybe after that it'll be available to everybody and you can eat your words.
Yeah, well, possibly. Now, on that note, Blizzard have actually posted via their Facebook account, the Hearthstone official Facebook account, they have said, this character will be available at a later date to other regions. But my complaint with that is that why didn't they just include that information in the fucking post in the first place? You go to the news post on the...
They probably didn't think it was going to be such a huge deal because it was just supposed to be a promotion.
I don't buy that at all.
It's a skin, Luke.
Have they even met Luke? I mean,
really?
No. I'm not the only person. If you go to the news post on the Blizzard
no, it's the internet.
website,
I can go and find someone angry about anything.
Of course you can.
Someone angry about the fact that cats have adorable foot paws and cat beans. There's someone out there who hates puppies. And your particular beef is that you can't stare at Tyrande. You have to stare at Anduin.
Let's take this on balance, though. If you look at the comments on this particular news post, almost 99% of them are people complaining about the region blocking.
99% of people.
Look, I haven't run the numbers precisely, but if you read down, it is virtually every single post you read. So... I don't think it's something that they could say.
Someone hitched the hate wagon to the complaining horses and rode their way through the internet, finding everybody who was finding every idiot with a pitchfork who had a bad day.
I just don't think they can claim ignorance.
I'm being facetious. Yeah. I would also be annoyed about this. I would be more annoyed if it was giving someone an advantage.
Absolutely.
But then again, I don't think they would ever do that.
Yeah. Look, if they did that, I think they would, probably see a large portion of people say, no, I'm not playing this game at all anymore, period. But that hasn't happened. It's extremely annoying to the point that they should have expected this. And if they had plans to release it in other regions, just mentioning that probably would have, put out a lot of the fires before they even got started. Just saying, don't worry, Australian or Asian customers, you'll have your chance to get this hero at some point in the future to be announced.
So what was the time difference between them announcing the character and them stating that?
It was about 48 hours, I think, and it was only in response to a huge amount of backlash. So,
but now they've done it. Now they've said it's going to be fine and it's okay.
But they've done it on their Facebook page, though. It's hardly the most accessible place for that information.
They've apologised for what they've done.
2 days, and you're going to get it.
Yeah,
sorry.
not happy. Not happy, Jan.
You always do this, Luke. You always go back to the past and bring it up in arguments.
Oh, man.
You
All
always
right.
say you forgive people and you don't.
I'm going to move on and talk
Sorry,
Pokemon.
Luke. I'm sorry, Luke. Sorry, Luke.
No,
that
it's
was
fine.
foul.
Look, I know I'm having a whinge for whinge's sake, but I think it's just a good thing again to draw attention to. Region restricted content is not a popular thing, so companies need to get their head around that. And if they're going to do it, they need to provide an out for people and one that is communicated well. I think so.
As soon as the major markets are the ones being affected, that will happen, yes. But as long as Asia is surprising for me. But Australia, they're certainly not going to do it just for us.
No, well, you'd hope so, but yeah. Anyway, I think we're used to getting left out of a lot of that stuff internationally.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Our laws are funky as and don't allow people to do a lot of stuff.
Oh, look, if they turn around tomorrow and offer us, an Asia and Australia only sort of alternative that the rest of the world doesn't get, then, honestly, as cool as that would be, I'd probably turn around and still complain about that because they haven't obviously learnt from the mistake. But, well, we will see. We will see. Now, little snippet of Pokemon news, just a really, really quick one. Pokemon Sun and Moon coming out on the 18th of November. Nintendo have actually announced that there is going to be a demo of Pokemon Sun and Moon coming to the Nintendo eShop on October 18th. So it's actually going to give people their first chance to play the games. And it's really interesting. It's they haven't really done this a lot before. So this one is going to come with a bit of an incentive as well. So downloading it and playing it ahead of the full game's launch will actually give you the opportunity to download a rare, unique form of the popular Pokemon Greninja from the previous generation. So this is the sort of ninja frog character, like the lanky one that sort of runs around and basically, I think he's been featured in the animated series recently too. He's one of the main characters there. So this unique form is actually going to be a form that is called the Ash Greninja, and I think it's supposed to be the one that Ash Ketchum, the main character in the animated series, actually has in the series. So it looks slightly different to the normal one. So. But yeah, and apparently that will carry over from the demo into the full games when they launch for full release in November. So very, very
I feel
cool.
like Pokemon Sun and Moon has become your new Hearthstone. And then today you've talked about both of those things. And we've created some sort of black hole
Sure. We will see. We will
of
see.
Luke hype.
All right. Well, the only other thing before we wrap up on news, did you guys see the Google announcement about their new VR headset?
Yeah, notably covered in microfiber for some unknown reason because plastic's not a thing anymore. I don't know. It's making it a style thing.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a very hipster style VR
You know
headset.
what it is?
Oh,
It's
Luke.
just like bump proof. So like you don't scratch it because it has like the cushy surface. So you can accidentally not. I don't know. I'm just making shit up.
Well,
I'm
it's-
imagining the meeting they're having and I'm like, well, how do we make this different to the other ones? Cover it in microfiber. Great
Well-
idea. Promote that, man.
part of the
Quick,
reason
and now
might
add
be
different
to-
colours.
Yeah, I think part of the reason might be to reduce the weight of it as well, because it's supposed to be about 30% lighter than most of the other devices. So, which is interesting. I mean, some of the
Only
other VR
works
devices
with-
are quite heavy.
Yeah, it only works with the Galaxy Samsung. I've forgotten the name of the phone. It has escaped my mind. But
Yeah.
it's not going to be a VR headset in its own right. It requires a phone or a tablet.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Gear VR, the Samsung Gear.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
What I was looking for. Thank
Yeah. And it is called the Daydream View VR. That's kind of cool name for a VR headset.
Daydream View VR. It's hard to say.
It is. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but Daydream I do like. I think that's a cool name to use for VR. So
Yeah, it's just going to be the Daydream. No one's going to call it the Daydream View.
no. All I call it the View.
DVVR.
Other than Google.
Yeah.
DVVR. Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
I put an extra V in there. Oh no.
VVV.
DDV. Yeah.
It's too real, guys. It's too many V's.
I need a vowel.
I'd like
nice.
another consonant, please.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll give you a vowel. I'll give you several vowels, in fact, because we have quite a few of them in the Game of the Month this month. So we are going to be reviewing, as part of our Party Game of the Month series. This month we have, Jam, what are we doing?
Firstly, that was a terrible segue.
Yeah, I know.
Our game of the month is Deus Ex GO, which was really cool. I enjoyed it.
Nice. So whose suggestion was this one? Oh, that's right. It was mine.
Oh, damn it. I
Again.
hated it.
Yet again.
I kid. I jest.
Yeah.
No, it's a really neat little puzzler set in the Deus Ex GO
universe that I played on iPad, which I found pretty great, very intuitive. Didn't need any sort of learning curve for how to use the screen.
Now you said you played it on iPad. Just before we go on, should we just do a quick round the table and check what everyone played it on? So Imogen, what did you play it on?
iPhone.
You played it on iPhone? I know Ollie played it on iPad and I played it on iPhone as well. So that's good. We had a good split down the middle. So yeah. And I got to say, playing it on iPhone afterwards, I was not regretting that choice because I thought it was perfectly fine on that platform.
Except my phone became the face of the sun and it drained my battery.
That is true. It did become pretty hot. How about your iPad, Jan? Did that heat up at all? Was it killing the battery or was it all right?
No, my iPad was fine. It was really neat. It is sort of the whole Deus Ex setting's just a pretty skin for a puzzle game. Like the storyline really not relevant
or existing, really. It's there, but it's they talk while you're doing a puzzle.
It was like the skin that you get on top of soup when you leave it too long. No, actually, that's probably that's not
basically
really fair.
It dresses up the puzzle's obstacles in the enemies that Jensen faces.
It's
in his
thematic
universe.
To Deus Ex.
Yeah, but I really liked it. I wasn't sure what to expect when I started it up, but I found it really neat. Basically, as you progress, you start with a pretty basic puzzle, and they're all basically trying to get him through a series of nodes to the final point, which will take him to the next level. And just as it goes on through the, what is it? Is it 50 odd levels?
I'm just checking now.
Don't have my iPad near me. It basically starts you with, one or two little basic mechanics, like how do you either stealth past this guard or incapacitate him. And then sort of as you master one mechanic, very quickly it'll introduce a new one, and it'll either be a brand new object or enemy with different abilities or different patterns of movement or targeting systems.
Or the hacking.
Or it'll let you start hack things, and even the hacking itself progresses. It's able to do more and more things down the track and that sort of thing. And it's really interesting because once mechanics are added to like the same object or enemy, your choice in how to deal with it changes enough that it makes the complex series of steps that you have to take to overcome it very specifically highly dependent on just the way everything's been configured. You'll have a series of nodes with, you can only travel yourself on links between them. But when you're hacking, that also has to jump node to node, but you might find that the hacking pathway itself has extra pathways to take. And that's significant because sometimes you need it to pass through a particular point. Because later on, certain enemies, when they hit that node through their movement, will deactivate that hack, and you need that to happen at precisely the right moment to trigger something else in the level. Like, it's really well built. I love how the complexity developed throughout the game, and I had a really fun time.
Nice.
It was good. I think I agree with you. I think it's well built. I think the idea behind it is good. My main complaint is I have never played a Deus Ex game in my life. I have no idea what the series is about or anything. So I went in thinking I had to kill all the guys on the level. So I spent a long time on one of the levels like, how do I kill that final guy? It's impossible. Not realizing that the whole point of the Deus Ex sort of universe, or talking about thematic, is that you sneak around and that you're not seen and that you're hiding in the shadows and those types of things. So some sort of direction been good. So coming into this game, not being part of the sort of Deus Ex, I mean, obviously I'm not its key market. It's Deus Ex GO. So it's the app version of the game, and it released at a very similar time as the new iteration of the actual Deus Ex series. So, but I thought it was really good. I mean, I'm not a big puzzle fan. I didn't get as far as you guys did in the game by any means, mostly because of time availability, and also it drained the crap out of my battery. So the time that I had to play on my phone, I didn't want to kill my phone at the same time. But I thought that the way that, like working things out, that felt really good. Like, you fail, you try it again, and those types of things. And as soon as I realized that I didn't have to kill everybody in the level, things went a lot smoother.
I
do wonder if there's some sort of achievement, like kill all of the guys or like kill no guys, but there was definitely some levels you had to kill people in. And
apparently there is an achievement late in the game for that. Like I actually just read that apparently on the final level or a couple of the final levels, if you can get through them without killing anybody, apparently there's an achievement.
Oh, particular levels, not like the whole game though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there are 54 levels. I just checked.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah.
It was what? It was $8 or $7.49 or something. Australian.
Something like that.
Available on iOS. I don't know the other platforms it'd be available on, but I'm assuming Android.
I wonder if I got it on sale then, because I only paid $3 for mine.
Oh,
No,
possibly.
Mine was 7 something or other.
Okay, there you go. Do you feel it was value for money, considering how much you got through?
I would never have spent $7.50 on a puzzle app. So it's value for money in that I think the game's made well. It didn't bug out. The puzzles were good, and the thing that it's supposed to do is give you something to do and think about, and it did all of those things. So yes, I definitely think it's worth $7.50 if that's what I actually paid. But I would never. So I guess in a way that's a good comment on the game, is that even though I wouldn't normally spend that money on a puzzle game, I still felt like it wasn't money wasted for me. I'll still keep it installed. It's still like a good little break from study and things, getting my brain thinking about something else, but still working, not going to sleep. So, but I'm certainly not its audience. I'm not a Deus Ex fan. I'm not a puzzle game fan whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, I haven't actually played any of the Deus Ex games either. I know that Ollie has, and so I couldn't draw the connection between previous game knowledge at all. But that being said, I don't really think that was a limiting factor so much, because I kind of got the hang of the theme.
Did you know about the idea behind Deus Ex, him being a spy and sneaking around?
I don't think I really knew a lot more than you did.
You can.
Okay.
So basically, in the Deus Ex games, you can get sort of a pacifist achievement for getting through without killing anyone. That I didn't realise the first time I played, but if you shoot someone with a sleeping dart, I think it is, but you shoot them in the head, that kills them. So I tried to do my pacifist run and realised, 20 hours in or something stupid.
You'd killed somebody.
Oh, crap, I've killed a lot of people.
Oh, no.
Or you can go gung-ho, full, psycho murder slaughter. It's a game that allows you to take any avenue you want, pretty much, except in, the previous one that I played for the boss fights. Any avenue you want to succeed. So it provides a lot of choice in playstyle. So I didn't have any sort of... Well, I guess that helped me not have preconceptions. I identified pretty quickly, I need to get to the end point, and it was just a matter of figuring out the mechanics of the obstacles. But, yeah, it helps to know that the stealthy options are available and very useful.
Yeah. Well, they definitely capture that theme in the Deus Ex GO sort of puzzle elements, like, having a stealth field generator that you can use to sneak past dudes, the whole hacking thing that you mentioned before as well, sort of, being able to turn things off and sneak past them. I think that kind of, filled the theme reasonably well. Again, the story was, virtually, bolt-on, very thin skin that just didn't even need to be there, really. I mean, you could have just had 54 levels of themed puzzles without having an overarching story, and it wouldn't have really made a huge difference, I don't think.
I actually found it irritating because when I was playing it with no sound on. I didn't find it necessary. And if they, after a set of puzzles, they started running some dialogue text across my screen, I was like, yeah, I don't care. Hurry up. Hurry up, give me the next puzzle. I need my fix.
Yeah. So, is it relevant to the puzzle I have right now? No? Then shut up.
Pretty much.
Yeah. No, I think one thing that's a challenge with these kinds of games, and, these node sort of movement, turn-based puzzle games, is that they are the kind of puzzle where if you only allow one sort of correct method to solve them, and that's usually the case for most of the levels, then it really doesn't give you a lot of opportunity for replayability. Like, you kind of do the puzzle, and then you're never going to want to come back to that level because you already know how to solve it, unless you
that's a good point.
Unless some time passes and you totally forget. But if you have more than one method of solving the puzzle, then I think it enhances the replayability, gives you different ways of attacking the problem, but by the same token, it makes the problem a lot easier if there's more than one way that you can finish it. So
the complexity would just drop.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I'm actually really curious now because this is the third in a series of Go sort of branded games that Square Enix has put out. So Lara Croft Go and then Hitman Go being the other two. I'm actually going to go and play those two games now just to see how they compare because I have heard very good things about both of them and I'm curious as to how similar the puzzle style is. I suspect that Deus Ex GO has probably got a bit more going on, particularly with the like the node connecting sort of mechanic that you mentioned before, sort of having that separate pathway that you need to do, which is separate to the main puzzle. That's something I wouldn't imagine would appear in the other games, and that's probably a different layer
Possibly.
of detail. Yeah. But no, I'll check it out and have a look. Look, I just checked the price. I actually did pay $3 Australian for my copy, and that, considering that you get 54 levels, if that's the price that you pay, I think that's extremely good value.
Yeah. Or even the full 7 odd, I got 3 to 4 hours of entertainment out of it. And something on the point you were just mentioning, they do have ongoing global puzzles. It looks like you can access one per day.
Oh, cool.
And if you complete, I don't know a lot about it because I only just unlocked it recently, and I've only done one of them, which was Mondays. It looks like if you complete the full week, something might happen. I'm not sure.
I think you get a Praxis kit to use in the new Deus Ex game. I think that's how it works. Yep.
Okay, yep, that makes sense. So it's just it's a reward, a crossover reward for the full game.
Yeah, like a cross promotion.
So there are ongoing puzzles dropping daily.
Well, that's
and
pretty cool.
I tried one of them, and it was of a decent complexity too. It was interesting. It reflected the ones later on in the game. So that was neat. It means you can still pick it up for 5 minutes or so on any given day and do something new.
Yeah,
which is
I
great.
did pay $7.99. Can confirm.
Oh, okay.
I paid
Interesting.
$8 for the game. Yeah.
Some conjecture around that. Maybe it's a different price for. No, you played it on iPhone as well, didn't you? Oh, that's weird. That's really weird. Don't know.
I think you did
I
get
bought
it on sale.
On the 8th of September.
Okay, I must have gotten it on sale then. Oh, that's good to know. The other thing too is that the game has microtransactions. So if you get stuck on any of the puzzles, you can actually purchase a solution. I found the microtransaction screen really tricky to kind of work out what was going on because it doesn't actually explain what you're purchasing. Like it only shows you a graphical picture of the thing that you're putting money towards, which is supposed to be a solution for the puzzle or an aid for the puzzle that you're doing, but it doesn't actually explain what it is or how it works. And I think that it's kind of consistent with what Jan was saying before too, that some of the puzzles and mechanics, it does explain in game by the nature of how the puzzles are actually built, incrementally how they work, because they sort of provide good sort of demonstrations of the mechanics. But there's no text in game that besides the dialogue that is supposed to support the story. Like there's nothing in there to show you how something works. And I actually got stuck for a little while on the first level where you get the stealth device because you pick this thing up and it appears in the top right hand corner of your screen and you can tap on it and it sort of, hovers around your character, your Adam Jensen sort of sprite, but it's not immediately obvious that you need to tap on him again to actually activate it. And it took me a while to work that out. Yeah.
See, I liked that. I liked them introducing each new element and me having to learn by failing. Otherwise, the game would have been over so fast.
There was no penalty for failing. There wasn't in some puzzle games, especially mobile or tablet-based puzzle games, you only have like 5 lives. If I had 5 lives and I was learning by dying, then I'd be annoyed. But there is no penalty to dying.
Yeah.
No, you need to die. The only way you can learn some of these new mechanics is to get killed by them, so that you understand what's triggered it and start figuring out how you can counter it.
So brutally, just like stabbed in the stomach. Not 5 guns, just want to like samurai sword you in the face.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, I mean, the actual animation of you dying is basically you shattering into like glass, like pixel fragments. So, yeah, it's not exactly a bloody gory game or anything, but yeah. Actually, you know what the game reminded me of a little bit is I don't know if you both played Monument Valley when we were talking about that on the show a while ago.
But yeah.
So it reminded me a little bit of that, but I think that Monument Valley's puzzles were a lot more artistic, like because there was a lot more sort of 3-dimensional rotating surfaces and things like that. but it was a turn-based kind of, movement, interacting with different features on the map kind of challenge, similar to how this one works. If I was to pick which of the two I prefer, I probably prefer Monument Valley just because of that really nice sort of artistic style of rotating puzzles and sort of changing the playing field as opposed to just moving node to node. But I still think this was a super good game. I really enjoyed it. So
yeah, well, it's a good thing that you bring up something like Monument Valley. That's a similar price puzzle game. So, maybe an interesting comparison. But I haven't had a go, so I will have to compare later.
Absolutely. Cool.
I think Deus Ex GO provided more for the money, but they were both quite enjoyable.
That's true. A lot more levels, for sure. Yeah. And if there's the ongoing global content, then I'd definitely agree with that. So, yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I'm glad that I was able to suggest another one that you both had a decent time with. So,
Damn it!
yeah, having a reasonable run. Look, I've removed myself from the list this month because I think it's only fair.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, and also because I haven't actually thought of something to replace my suggestion with anyway. So, yeah. All right.
My prediction is that we get another 3 or 4. By the way,
another 3 or 4.
We're going to get another 3 or 4 every time.
We'll see. All right. So, as per every month, we have a list of games for next month's reviews. We're going to randomly select one now. Now, the way this works is basically every month we take our listeners' suggestions as well as each of us basically have a horse in the race as well. A game suggested to play for the next month's review. We pick one of them randomly from the list, and then that's the game for the following month's party game of the month review. So, Imogen, what sort of games are we looking for people to suggest? Like, what are the guidelines we like to stick to generally? I
forget the price guideline, but we're basically looking for games that maybe take only about 10 hours to complete or at least get a good idea of the game. Something that's available either on PC or Steam or on tablets is ideal. Because then we don't have anything that's a console only because we don't have all of the consoles, unfortunately.
Yeah, unless it's multiple consoles.
Obviously, yeah, we love to play the older games, and please recommend them if you can find them, but we can't play any games that aren't digitally available because that means we have to go outside, which is some of us our least favourite thing to do.
Well, I
like
myself
outside.
When I go outside.
Yeah, it's true.
Outside
Jamie keeps
is
hurting
dangerous.
herself doing regular tasks, so she
walking
can't go
in a
outside
straight line on flat pavement.
Walking in a straight line, eating, those types of things are what injures Jamie. So she doesn't like to go outside. So please make it
using
digital.
gravity.
What was the cost? We said
$30. So $30 US or under is the price limit. So.
US.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've never specified US, but
year it was 5.
Generally speaking,
I'm just shit stirring.
If it's around the $10 to $15 mark, that seems fairly standard. But make the suggestion. We have a look. We put them all in the list, unless we think there's some big reason why we think we wouldn't get a good idea of the game in a month. And this month is our big month. So whatever game we get is going to have to compete against a lot of different things.
Nice. All right. So I have the list in front of me, and I have the random number generator. So you two think we're going to roll a 3 or a 4, do you?
For sure.
Oh, it sounds like there's no sort of independent control here. I don't know if I approve.
Well, my game is I do not have a suggestion on the list tonight, so that sort of takes my horse out of the race somewhat.
That's true. That's true.
All right. We've got a bunch of good games there, though, so let's see what we turn up tonight. All right, I have a random number generator app on the phone. I'm just rolling it. I'm about to flip it over. All right, and we have a 2.
I got one.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, this is going to be hilarious.
So, Jan, this is your suggestion. What is it?
Yeah.
Yes, it's Push Me, Pull You.
What is it?
I'm just looking it up now. So Push Me, Pull You is a game released it's a team game released this year. It is released in May on PlayStation 4 and Windows in July. It is from developer House.
Ooh, interesting.
It's a team game where you basically... Did you ever watch the cartoon Cat Dog?
Vaguely remember, yeah.
There was like the main character was like a sort of a single animal, but there was a cat head at one end and a dog head at the other. Basically, you as pairs control this stretchy person with 2 heads that uses their arms to crawl.
Okay.
basically turn into like a
In
big
either
long
direction.
sausage in the middle. Yeah.
And there's a ball on, and it's a top-down view of like say a sports field, for example. And there's a ball in the middle. You have to shepherd that ball, to the goals. But the other team also have this stretchy individual with two heads and two sets of arms that's connected. So you end up approaching it and then trying to outmaneuver one another so that you can wrap around each other or wrap around the ball and then drag it away from it. It looks so weird, and we're all going to have to get on together and play this.
It sounds a little bit like a
game.
I was going to say it sounds a little bit like a cross between the three-legged race and the human centipede.
Pretty much.
Why?
So its Wikipedia page describes it as two teams of sausage-like bodies with heads at both ends, face up in a circle or territorial control of a ball. Player has 2 to 4 player modes. So I don't know how you play 2-player mode. You'd have to control both ends of the sausage, and that sounds a bit hectic.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a little party game, I would say. Looks like, it's only on PlayStation 4. It's not on Xbox One. So it'll be interesting to give it a go. Much hilarity will ensue.
Yep, this looks like a ton of fun. Sweet. All right, well, cool. We've got something to look forward to then. And a nice light one in our upcoming month of craziness. So Gears of War 4 coming up in the next week or so. We've got Imogen, let's have a very, very quick update just while we're wrapping up on how Operation Mimonaut is going. You done any practice?
Operation Mimonaut is going okay. I've done research in that I've read a lot of the stuff about past Omegathons and past games. And I have looked at and got in my Steam wishlist a list of games that I believe would be good for me to learn how to play. So we're getting there.
Yeah.
Mimo update number 2.
All right. Nice. And we're all going to get together and help you do some practice in the next week, aren't we? You do like a bit of a team training session. Should be good.
Random games. I'll tell you what, it has made me overwhelmingly want to buy Forza Horizon 3.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. Because I'm absolutely obsessed with this game now. I want it. I'm looking at it all the time. I've got like markers on like prices all over the place, like waiting for it to drop somewhere. So,
on what platform?
Xbox One.
Oh, if you get it, I'm going to get it.
Our
just
driver
know it.
tars can hang out in Australia, mate.
You may talk me into it as well. I may actually give that a crack as my first driving game in a long time because I'm kind of keen to. So
That's
I
exciting.
love driving games.
all right,
Prepare to lose.
we'll put that one on the maybe list. Anyway, if you want to give us an email in the meantime and suggest future games for the Party Game of the Month list, then please do so. You can get us at mail@partyloader.com. We also take suggestions via Twitter and Facebook, so hit us up at Twitter at PartyLoadedShow, Facebook.com/PartyLoaded. And as of tonight, you can also follow us on what, Imogen?
Instagram. Just search for Party Loaded, one word, and we are there. We don't have many posts yet, but it's in prep for our time at PAX. So over the weekend at PAX, you'll see a lot of things popping up on Instagram and shared via Facebook and Instagram stories and all sorts of things. So go and give us a follow if you want to see and follow our journey through PAX.
Sounds good. So PAX Hype Train is real, counting down.
Oh, yes.
A lot of stuff
It
happening.
is into its final and highest gear. We are 1 month away, people. 1 month
Oh, my
away.
God.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Lots of fun stuff coming. Yep. That's going to be cool. So plenty of chat on that in the coming episodes. So, but anyway, let's put a bow on it for tonight and hop off and do our other things in preparation for another full week of gaming. So have a great week, everybody, and good night.
Night.
Bye.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.